Women's basketball, Iowa versus Oklahoma preview. Jan Jensen and the Iowa Hawkeyes aren't ready for this dance to end. After a 92-57 beatdown of the 11-seed Murray State Racers on Saturday afternoon, the 6-seed Iowa Hawkeyes now face their biggest challenge of the season, 3-seed Oklahoma, on the Sooners' home court. The game will tip at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time, UG, and will be broadcast on ESPN. It will be the first time the two teams have met in the NCAA tournament. ESPN Analytics currently gives the Sooners a 72.8% chance to win the matchup. The Hawkeyes, 23-10, will have their work cut out for them against the Sooners, 26-7. It's almost like both teams will be looking in a mirror. Is that because Oklahoma coach Jenny Baranczyk is alumni of the program herself? Not necessarily by design, but definitely by influence. Scouting Oklahoma. When preparing to face the Sooners squad, scouting starts, of course, with Raegan Beers, the 6'4" junior center who transferred from Oregon State. In the offseason is a force to be reckoned with in the post. She leads the team in points per game with 17.7 and rebounds with 9.2, and it's easy to see why when you watch her play. Not only does she have the height, but her physical play style and ability to stretch the floor and make shots from deep could potentially spell trouble for Iowa's centers. Even when Beers is off the court, Oklahoma's backup centers can continue stretching the floor and hitting from deep. Iowa's two more similar matchups size-wise came against USC and UCLA in conference play, but this should look completely different, as 6'4" freshman Ava Guyton did not play many minutes in either of those matchups. Iowa's next star center has evolved her play in the blink of an eye, earning herself the squad's first spot off the bench since the Big Ten tournament, and it will be fascinating to see how she matches up against Beers. Whether Jensen goes with more of the Hannah Stolka/Guyton combo that we have seen snips of in the previous few games, or tries to stagger minutes between Stolka, Guyton, and Addie O'Grady. Iowa has the height to contend with Beers and 6'3" center Beatrice Culleton, but not necessarily the physicality. Finding a way to get Beers into foul trouble early could make a huge difference. I'm still kind of watching some film and trying to figure out what that might look like if she gets on a tear, who I might switch out, Jensen said of Beers during her media availability yesterday. I'm not trying to hide anything from them, but I have to watch to see at what points in time it might be best to go with Guyton versus O'Grady. Including Beers, the Sooners have a deep roster, with 10 players averaging at least 10 minutes per game. Second in scoring is senior guard Peyton Verhulst, who transferred to Oklahoma from Louisville after her sophomore season. Verhulst, as the Sooners' primary ball handler, likes to push the pace. She averages 14.9 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 4 assists per game while leading the team in minutes played with 29.1. Sophomore forward, and another Waterloo native, forwards Sahara Williams and Skylar Van round out OU's leading scorers, with Williams averaging 10.5 points and 4.7 rebounds per game and Van 9.8 points and 4.9 rebounds per outing. All of them are capable and willing to stretch the floor on their opponents and take shoots from beyond the arc. Everybody on the floor can usually pull it and shoot a three at a pretty good percentage, Jensen said about Baranczyk's roster construction and speed of play. She has, bigs that can do that, too. And that's always harder when you have a couple of her bigs that can stop and hit a trail three, or if you decide not to guard them, they're able to hit it if they get on. Like I mentioned above, Iowa will certainly have their work cut out for them in this matchup. But this is a team that has continually punched above its weight against stiff competition. Take the game against UCLA, for example. Jensen is a master of maximizing the skill sets of her team to disrupt a superior opponent. Against the Bruins, the Hawkeyes focused on slowing down the tempo, holding UCLA below their season average in scoring, and limiting the Bruins' +12 average rebounding margin. Securing the win will depend on staying out of foul trouble or adjusting to whatever abysmal calls the refs are making, and getting good looks while minimizing the damage beyond Beers. Lucy Olsen and Iowa's post players will need to be at the top of their games for 40 minutes, while smart shots from Taylor McCabe and Aaliyah Guyton could prove to be the icing on the cake that makes up an upset win. Easier said than done for sure, but this Iowa team has shown time and time again that they'll play with grit until the last minute. In a season full of what-if moments in close games, it would be extremely satisfying to see this team finally put it all together for a close win to earn their spot in the Sweet 16.